Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Okay, so today we are tackling something that is literally the ultimate travel headache. Seriously, it's this super high stress, deeply frustrating paradox that basically every international traveler hits at some point. Picture this. You're planning your dream trip, getting all your visa paperwork together, and bam, you hit a massive roadblock. The embassy wants proof of your flight first? Like, how on earth are you supposed to prove your exact travel plans, let alone buy a ticket, when you don't even know if you'll legally be allowed into the country yet? I mean, it makes absolutely zero sense, right? Just to put this into perspective, think about this number. Up to 1.20 thousand Indian rupees. That's the potential upfront cost of a non-refundable long-haul flight from somewhere like Delhi or Mumbai all the way to Europe. The embassy is essentially asking you to gamble this massive chunk of money on a flight before your visa is actually approved. No way. And, well, this right here is the core problem. It's the ultimate visa catch-22. Take a Schengen visa application, for instance. That can just sit in processing for 15 to 45 business days. An Irish student visa? That can take 4 to 8 weeks. So making an upfront flight purchase while you wait that long, it's just a financially reckless gamble. If your visa gets denied, or honestly even just delayed, you lose all that money. So how do we actually fix this? Well, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the visa catch-22. Then, what is a conditional booking? Next, 2 ways to get one. Followed by avoiding fraud and fakes, tips for Indian travelers, and finally, after your visa arrives. All right, part 2. What is a conditional booking? This is the real solution to the visa dilemma, and we really need to define exactly what these are to clear up that kind of shady reputation around the term dummy ticket. So a conditional flight booking is basically just a temporary flight reservation. It's held right there in the airline's actual booking system with a real reference number. But, and this is key, it hasn't been paid for yet, and no final ticket has been issued. Think of it exactly like making a restaurant reservation. You know, the table is held under your name so you have proof of your plans for the evening, but you haven't ordered your food or paid the bill yet. You're not financially committed, but the reservation itself, it's absolutely real. Which brings us to the most crucial piece of the puzzle, the PNR, or passenger name record. This is a unique 5 to 6 character code. You see, when people throw around the term dummy tickets, it sounds super fake, but a legitimate conditional booking is definitely not a fake document. The only thing that legally matters for your visa application is whether this PNR is real and can be independently verified directly on the airline's official website. It's actually kind of fascinating to see how different destinations treat these documents. For the Schengen area, proof of travel is required, and yes, European embassies explicitly accept these unpaid reservations. For the UK and Ireland, the exact same applies. A conditional booking or travel itinerary is perfectly sufficient to meet their guidelines. They know the catch-22 exists, so they completely accept this workaround. Moving on to Section 3, 2 ways to get one. Let's look at direct versus third party, so we can break down exactly how you can secure one of these legitimate bookings. Okay, so method 1 is going directly to the airline. Some airlines actually have a hold my booking feature. It's usually free or super cheap, but here's the catch. The hold window is incredibly short, like just 24 to 72 hours. Method 2 is using a third-party global distribution system service. Now, this will run you between $10 and $30, but it gives you that crucial 3 to 7 day hold. Look, if your Schengen visa takes 45 days to process, a 24-hour airline hold is completely useless. The embassy just needs to see the booking is active when they initially review your file, which makes that longer third-party hold absolutely essential. And honestly, when you compare the extreme upfront costs, it shows exactly why that small fee is totally worth it. A conditional booking costs you, a maximum of maybe $30 up front? A non-refundable ticket is the entire base fare. You're literally risking everything. Now, a fully refundable ticket is definitely the safest real travel option, but airlines charge 1.5 to 3 times the base fare for that luxury. That ties up huge amounts of your cash. So spending $10 to $30, it's simply the ultimate financial protection against the absolute nightmare of a visa rejection. All right, Section 4, avoiding fraud and fakes. The high stakes of visa verification. Listen, submitting a fake, photoshopped ticket is literally a criminal offense. If an embassy catches you with a fake PNR, you aren't just getting your visa rejected. You could be hit with a massive 5 to 10 year ban from even entering that country. Because the consequences are that severe, I want you to use this foolproof 4-point verification check the very second you get your conditional booking. Step 1, go directly to the official airline website, not a third-party aggregator, the actual airline. Step 2, enter your PNR under Manage Booking. Step 3, confirm your name matches your passport exactly. Yes, down to the middle name. And step 4, ensure the status clearly says confirmed or open for ticketing. If it doesn't show up, do not, under any circumstances, submit it to the embassy. Let's pivot to Section 5, Tips for Indian Travelers, Navigating TCS and Card Blocks. Because for those of you watching from India, you actually face some very specific financial hurdles that other travelers just don't. The most common reason people panic is when their simple $10 conditional booking payment completely fails. Well, here's the secret. Indian bank cards from HDFC, ICICI, SBI, and others, they actually block international online transactions by default. So before you try to pay a third-party service hosted overseas, you literally just have to go into your mobile banking app and manually enable international online transactions. It's a 1-minute fix, but it saves so many headaches. Then, of course, there's the whole TCS framework. Since October 2023, Indian travelers have been hit with heavy taxes on overseas remittances and tour packages. But here is the genuinely great news. A conditional booking fee of $10 to $30 is so unbelievably far below any TCS threshold that it attracts zero TCS. You completely bypass those heavy tax rolls while still securing your visa documentation. Pretty awesome, right? Finally, Section 6. After your visa arrives, let's talk about next steps and common mistakes. Basically, what exactly should you do the moment you get your passport back and see that beautiful visa approval stamp inside? Well, I really want you to remember this specific quote from our source material. A conditional booking is a means to an end. It is not the ticket you travel on. Once your visa is approved, that conditional booking has done its job. You have to let that temporary hold expire or cancel it and immediately purchase a real, confirmed ticket with an actual ticket number for your journey. You absolutely cannot check in or cross a border with just a conditional hold. Oh, and when you do go to book that real ticket, pay attention to this pro tip, especially for Indian students who are moving abroad for a semester or more. European carriers typically restrict you to a 23-kilogram baggage limit. But if you route through Middle Eastern carriers like Emirates or Qatar, they often give you 30 to 35 kilo limits on routes originating from India. It's a tiny detail, I know, but it makes a massive difference when you're literally packing up your whole life. All right, before we wrap up, let's just rapid fire through the top 7 critical mistakes you absolutely have to avoid. 1. Submitting a non-verifiable PNR. 2. Submitting an already expired hold. 3. Using dates that don't match your requested visa validity. 4. Having a name mismatch with your passport. 5. Trying to actually fly on the dummy document. 6. Booking a hold on a route that doesn't even go to your visa destination. And 7. Leaving this whole thing to the last minute and rushing the process. Keep this checklist front and center in your mind. So, we've broken down the Catch-22, we've verified the PNR, and we've successfully shielded your wallet. The only question left is, are you ready to confidently book your dream trip without risking your bank account? You now have the exact knowledge and the structure you need to use conditional bookings legally and effectively. Use this explainer as your guide, go get that visa application submitted with absolute confidence, and I will see you on our next deep dives.